What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my Subaru build. So if you're brand new here and you don't know exactly what I'm doing, currently this shell behind me, I am turning into a rally car, slowly but surely. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, check them out. Pretty much everything that I've done has been on camera. I'm trying to show the build as much as I can. That way, if anybody's actually interested in doing it to their own car, that they can kind of have an idea based off what I'm doing. Now, I'm not a pro or anything like that. So it's kind of a learning experience as I go, but it's been a lot of fun. Everything's coming out pretty decently, so I'm happy with it. So today's plan of action is to try to take care of a couple of small things, and then I can pull all the bars out, and then I plan on removing the roof. That way I'll actually be able to get the bars back in there and actually weld them all up. So the bars that I'm actually going to be working on today are optional, so you don't have to have them if you choose not to. I'm going to, because I'm not really concerned too much about overall weight that I'm adding to the car in the terms of safety. So I'd rather the cage be a little bit stronger and safer than save like 5-10 pounds here and there. Obviously I'm not going to be running to try to win or anything like that. Honestly, I just kind of want to do it for fun, so I'm not crazy worried about having the lightest car out there. It's going to have a stock motor and whatnot, so it's going to be pretty slow. Not worried about too much extra weight. So if you are, you probably still don't want to like sacrifice too much in terms of safety if you're trying to run that fast anyway. The bars run from the main hoop up to the front laterals. There are a few rules that you actually have to be in compliance with when you do this, mostly with how far the bars can come forward and how much they impede a driver or co-driver's exit from the vehicle, because you don't want it to where it comes all the way out to here and then you do your A-pillar support bar that comes down here and goes over here, and then you just have this really small window that you can get in and out of the car. It's not really going to be safe if the car's on fire or something like that and you have to get out in a hurry. Anyway, these bars should be pretty easy to make. It's just a small straight section with no bends, and then just two pretty easy notches to get them to sit right, so these shouldn't take long, and then I can actually move on to get the roof off. Both are cut out and fit decently right now. So now I'm just gonna go through, clean up all the edges, bevel them a little bit, and see if I can get them to fit just a tiny bit better. This one fits really good. This one has just a little bit of gap in one of the notches, but nothing I can't get rid of, because the notcher does kind of leave like a little lip on the lower piece sometimes, because it doesn't align perfectly with the hole saw. So you really, once you get rid of that, it usually fits on the bar really well. So I'm just gonna get rid of that. And then I'm not even gonna bother tacking them into place. Just gonna make sure they fit with clamps. And then once I do that, we'll start pulling bars out. And both tubes are in and notched. I cleaned up all the notches. They're just being held in by these clamps right now, but it's starting to look pretty good. It's almost looking like a real roll cage now. But yeah, so that's it on the tubes that I'm going to bend for a while. Not really a while, and I didn't really bend those, so I just cut and notched them, obviously. But probably the last ones for tonight. So I'm going to pull these two out, and then we got to start removing all of this window stuff that's still on there, all the old urethane adhesive that was holding in the window. That way we can get at these spot welds in the actual like rain tray for the gutter. So yeah, we're gonna start doing that and then start drilling about 150 spot welds, get the roof off. Got all cleaned up. Time to actually start cutting all these spot welds. So this is going to be quite a while of just purely getting all the spot welds and being careful not to go through both sides, because got to be able to re-weld this thing back on without hacking it up too much. I did get some new spot weld bits. As you can see, there's like a drill bit in the center of this one. So it's spring loaded. It's kind of like a center punch, so it's spring loaded. So as you put pressure against it, this centerpiece will push in. But I think this will be a lot better than the last one that I had, because all that had was like a pointed tip. It was about the same size as a center punch, but it would walk like crazy. And even though I'd do like a center punch into the hole of the spot weld, it would still walk like crazy. So I just ended up having to drill little holes to start with. So that was a pain, and it meant drilling twice as much. So this way should work better. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna use some cutting oil and go to town with this bad boy, and hopefully these last a little bit longer than my last ones too. Say made in USA, that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's free. Whew. Finally got it off. So with the sunroof models, there's like an extra tab that you have to go through in a few spots. So I didn't really account for that. But I only missed a couple, but I accidentally went through in a couple of spots. So that's gonna suck. Just means that I'll have to fill in those holes before I can actually throw this back on. So before the cage actually goes in, I will patch all of those holes up. That way I can fully weld the roof back on. So this is like the main reason that you do it, so you can weld all these top bars. So like here and whatnot, as well as the roof bars that would be connected right here, but I pull them down. The rear stays going to the strut towers and the V as well. All these areas are going to be really easy to weld now because I have full access to them and I don't even have to drop the cage. I only have to drop the cage to weld like the sides of the front laterals. So like right here, I'll have to drop it those 4 inches or whatever to be able to get these fully welded up. So if you're looking to remove a roof and you couldn't see exactly what I was doing because I didn't show it very well, Obviously you got to pull the glass out, the front and the back window, and then you just do all of the spot welds all along here, all along in the rain gutter, on both sides. And once you do that, then you just put something flat, like I used a small screwdriver, and just lightly pried until I saw where it had resistance, and then I would get rid of a little bit more from that. But it just takes a little bit to just slowly work it up. And then you've got like the seam sealer in the gutter right here that I just cut with a razor blade so it would pop up easier. But it's this pretty simple process. It's just time consuming. So I'm really a big fan of those new spot weld cutters that I got. I didn't even go through one, so I didn't have to replace it. I did use decent lubricant for it, which helps too in the longevity of it. But it definitely didn't walk nearly as much as my other ones, so I'm a big fan. I'll throw a link in the description if you guys are interested in those. They're way better than the Eastwood ones that I had before, and definitely 100 times better than the Harbor Freight ones, because those break really fast. Anyway, sorry for the kind of crappy video. I didn't really do much in here or talk much about what I was doing, so just a lot of time lapse and whatnot. Apologize again. But there really wasn't that much to talk about with this, because I mean, I only made those 2 bars and removed the roof. But slowly making progress. Next step, pulling all these bars out, and I'm gonna start cleaning them. That's gonna take a while. Fully prep them for welding, and because it'll be easier to like get all the mill scale off now than it will be when they're in the car for paint later on. That way I can just like lightly hit them with some sandpaper, clean them with acetone, and they'll be ready for paint. And then once I get all those out, I think I'm going to weld the X cross member into the main hoop. So it comes up somewhere around here in this corner. I got to figure out exactly where I'm going to go, and then obviously to as low as it can onto the rocker box, which I'll be able to get it pretty low, which is why I want to like weld it when it's out. And then same with the other side. And I probably will gusset it when it's out too, because you have to throw a gusset because it's at an X brace, and it's going to have 1 continuous bar and 1 half bar. So, but once I get those in there, then all of these bars are going to go in there, and I'm going to fully weld all of them up, drop them, whatnot, fully weld them up, put them back on there, and then make the rest of the bars, which all of those bars should go pretty quick, which I'm really happy about because they're all like straight bars. At least in the rear, those are mostly like all straight bars. Anyway, I'll stop talking now. This video is probably getting really long, and it's mostly just me talking and time lapse of working on the car, so not a whole lot in there. But once again, I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I really do. I know I say that a lot, but it's really cool to see that you guys actually like them and interact and whatnot with it. And I get a lot from the people that comment that have done this stuff before, so it's always good too. But anyway, I'll see you guys when I make that X and pull all the tubes out and get them ready to weld.